You guys were talking about, one of the reasons you got this together is to help contractors out. They need some help with different things. And what are some of those things? Are you seeing any trends? We just had, for example, Zaid on here from FlexBase, and we were talking about, cash flow. That can be a challenge. So what are you guys seeing? Where do people need the most help?
Yeah, I can jump in on there. So it's funny because I did see episode 3 was cash flow, and it ties in perfectly with what we're seeing. And one of the biggest things, it's not that it's the biggest need, but it's the thing that most people don't talk about. And it is money. Mm-hmm. It's financing. Mm-hmm. It's cash flow. It's these topics where it's like, okay, if you give kind of an umbrella overview, like that's great, but let's dive deeper into the numbers. Like, how can I afford something? How do I go about doing this in my business? So Luke and I actually started Dirtbags University, which in a nutshell, it's a live webinar once a month where we are discussing these topics as like a mastermind group. And we're essentially what we're doing, we charge for it. And so if you want to show up, people will show up. And it's just a solid group of contractors all across the country and even up in Canada. And we hit these topics. So our next one on November 23rd, cash flow in construction. I mean, that is one of the biggest things that we're seeing right now. So we're going to address it. But Luke, any other topics that we've seen come up after these podcasts?
I feel like, so kind of back to your question, Kevin, to where what are some of the things that people are needing? Luke and I are trying to take away the gray areas in a lot of things. We're trying to help limit mistakes people make to where they can be more successful. Like based on the Dirtbags business, we're trying to make a book of business for us to refer out to people, for people to use to make their jobs easier. Whether it's, I know we've got financing companies, we've got, insurance companies, we've got, this whole book of business to where if people are like, I don't know who to use, here's the person I'm using, it's just not getting it done for me. We want them to come to us and say, who do you guys use? Who do you guys trust? And then Luke and I kind of through a process, we get to decide if the business that we're referring to is worth the referral, right? So that's kind of the first stop. But I feel like that's been really big to where it's a convenience thing. Everybody loves convenience, and Luke and I are trying to kind of dial in how we can help other people and then also help the businesses too that we're referring by, getting more business. I feel like that's kind of a topic too that's really kind of sparked between, these companies that we've talked to is they don't know how to get in front of people right now. It's kind of an unorthodox way, and obviously this new generation coming in, they do things a lot differently than what they did, 10, 20 years ago. So that's where Luke and I are trying to kind of bridge that gap and just make it easier for, honestly, both sides.
So can you clarify when you say they have trouble getting in front of people? Like, are you thinking like vendors, like, when you're like banks and insurance companies and that type of thing?
Yeah, it honestly boils down to like a people thing right now. Everybody is missing people in their industry, whether it's, on the insurance team, they're missing sales team members for their insurance providing, right? We'll take that as an example. So what Luke and I want to do, we want to act as a referral side to help grow their sales, but also, help the contractors get paired with a really good company. So we're kind of playing middleman, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've seen it to where, and it was said the other day, Luke, when we hopped on that call, is this one company, they're like, we just don't have the outreach that we thought we would with some of these people. We don't really know how to connect with them. And kind of the Dirtbags, our motto, I'll call it, is when somebody is talking about you, it's a lot more credible than when you're talking about you. So we want to be those people that are talking about these companies, these contractors, wherever, to where it's not them talking about them, and they are more credible when somebody else is complimenting them or talking about them. So that's kind of what Luke and I have seen, if that makes sense. I can elaborate more too, but